Incoming chopper! Asking you! Well, I'm asking you!
Oh, this is embarrassing.
Yeah? That's funny. So
Let's go, Gal!
you I'm out!
I've got you back! Here we go!
Better you than me.
That's nice.
You order room service?
Sorry, sir. I had to adjust.
Let's go, go, go! Shoot top! Fire!
Lucky ring.
Houston, we got a problem.
I'm almost there!
What's happening?
What?
Ah, come on!
I'm out.
Did that? Not me. Somebody got a little carried away.
You know, maybe I could return to a place like that.
What's happening?
Oh.
Wait.
Biegaj go! Biegaj!
Now chew.
One more!
Chambers are cleared.
Move it. And get the plutonium on the... We need to buy some time.
Let's go!
I'll be back.
Start the engine!
You shoot.
Start helicopter.
Let's make it more dramatic. Bullets! That's your problem. Like a sheep. You must want to hurt. Soon, I want going back down. Tastes good. Time to wrap this up. Here we are, you and I. Like him. How did you call him? Come on. Bloodline. Get up. Get. Now turn around. Where's Billy?
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the glorious, muscle-bound mayhem of the Expendables 2. A movie that pretty much defined turn off your brain and enjoy the explosions. We kick things off with an immediate gut punch of pure, unadulterated action. The Expendables, a delightful group of grizzled mercenaries, are deep in Nepal, attempting a daring prison break. It's explosions from the get-go, with a deafening cacophony of gunfire and shouting filling the air. Barney Ross, looking as stoic as ever, leads the charge through a veritable hurricane of flying debris. The metallic clang of weapons and the raw shouts of combatants are everywhere. It's less a subtle infiltration and more a let's kick in the front door and blow everything up kind of situation, which, let's be honest, is exactly why we're here. If you like this sneak peek, hit the like button and subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel, and let me know you want more.
Dummy chopper!
Asking you! Well, I'm asking you!
Yeah!
Let's go, yeah!
I'm out!
What?
I've got you back!
Here we go!
Better you than me.
That's nice.
You order room service?
Let's go, go, go!
Sir.
top! Fire!
Following that rather boisterous welcome to Nepal, our heroes are back aboard their trusty, if slightly battered, aircraft, looking exactly like a group of men who've just wrestled a grizzly bear and won. This is where we meet Billy, the team's surprisingly sensitive sniper. He's got retirement plans, you see, and they involve brushes and canvases, not bullets and bombs. He pulls out a rather poignant little painting, a stark contrast to the earlier symphony of destruction. Barney, ever the picture of gruff affection, gives him a knowing look, almost a paternal nod. There's a quiet understanding, a promise of a future beyond the bloodshed, even if it feels a little too good to be true for an action flick. The distant hum of the plane's engines underscores this brief, tender moment before we inevitably get back to the good stuff. No rest for the wickedly violent, it seems. Barney, probably still smelling faintly of gunpowder, is summoned by the wonderfully passive-aggressive Mr. Church, who, let's be honest, looks like he's perpetually annoyed by everyone's existence. They meet in a wonderfully cliché, dimly lit bar, because where else would you get your next impossible mission briefing? Church, holding a small, ominous metal box like it contains the last slice of pizza, lays out the next simple task: retrieve said box from a downed plane in Albania. Oh, and he's not asking. He's telling. He also introduces Maggie Chan, a sharp, no-nonsense operative who's clearly here to bring some much-needed tech savvy to a team whose idea of technology usually involves does it explode. The air practically crackles with unspoken threats and the clinking of ice in glasses, setting a wonderfully tense stage for what's to come, now airborne and heading for Albania. It's time for some classic Expendables banter and, more importantly, Maggie's formal introduction to the boys. You can practically hear the collective groans of the team as she tries to explain advanced tech and strategy to a group whose preferred method of problem-solving involves a lot of lead and yelling. Gunnar, bless his explosive heart, is particularly skeptical, probably wondering if her tactics involve anything that makes a satisfying boom. But Maggie, calm as a cucumber in a storm of testosterone, holds her own. She's explaining something complex, probably about GPS coordinates or satellite imaging, while the guys nod along with varying degrees of comprehension, mostly just impressed she can stand on a moving plane without puking. It's a fun clash of old-school brawn and modern brains, setting up some interesting dynamics. Deep in the Albanian wilderness, our crew finally reaches the downed plane. The scene is eerily quiet, save for the crunch of leaves under their boots and the distant calls of unseen birds. It's a moment of unsettling calm, like the world is holding its breath before the next big explosion. They meticulously pick through the mangled wreckage, each metallic screech and groan of twisted fuselage a reminder of the plane's violent descent. Barney, with his hawk-like intensity, directs the search, his eyes scanning every shadow, every corner. Lee Christmas, ever nimble, moves with a practiced grace, while Gunnar looks like he's itching to just blow something up to find the package faster. The package itself is a small, unassuming metal box, a perfect example of how the most dangerous things often look the most innocuous. You just know this easy retrieval is about to go sideways, and there it is, the inevitable things go wrong moment. Just as the team breathes a collective sigh of relief, thinking they've pulled off another textbook smash and grab, Jean Villain, looking like he's just stepped out of a fashion show for supervillains, makes his grand entrance. It's an ambush, swift and brutal. The air fills with the sharp crack of rifle fire and the urgent shouts of the Expendables. Billy, poor Billy with his artistic dreams, is caught in the crossfire, isolated and quickly overwhelmed. Villain, with a smile that could freeze liquid nitrogen, secures his prize and, more horrifyingly, captures Billy. Barney's face tightens with a grim fury, the impotence of the moment searing through him. The metallic glint of Villain's custom knife catches the light, a silent promise of pain. The team is outmaneuvered, their usual brute force countered by a chilling tactical precision. It's not just a package they've lost, it's one of their own. This is where Expendables 2 takes a sharp turn into They really went there, Villain, in a move that solidifies his status as a truly despicable villain, brutally executes Billy, the thud of the knife hitting home as almost as shocking as the visual itself. And the casual cruelty of it all is just ugh. He leaves the distinctive blade plunged into Billy's chest, not just as a murder weapon, but as a deliberate, taunting message. Barney, usually unflappable, drops to his knees, the shock and grief etched onto his face as he gently touches his fallen friend. That quiet, hopeful conversation about painting seems a million miles away now. The silence that follows the act is deafening, punctuated only by the ragged breaths of the surviving Expendables. That grief quickly morphs, however, into a cold, hard resolve. When Barney Ross gets that look in his eye, you know someone is about to have a very, very bad day. Revenge, served with a side of copious explosions, is definitely on the menu. With Billy's death weighing heavily, the team heads back to their temporary HQ. The air thick with sorrow and simmering rage. Maggie, ever the pragmatist, takes a closer look at Villain's calling card, that distinctive knife. She examines it with the intensity of a surgeon, her findings chilling. Turns out, it's not just any fancy blade. It's made from a rare alloy, a signature of a specific, rather nasty group involved in illegal plutonium mining. And the package? Yep, you guessed it, weapons-grade plutonium. Because, of course, a villain with a name like Villain isn't just stealing gold doubloons. The gravity of the situation sinks in. The simple retrieval now a race against nuclear annihilation. The realization hits them like a physical blow. Billy died for a ticking time bomb, literally. The stakes just went from personal revenge to saving the entire free world, which is a pretty standard Tuesday for these guys, armed with this rather unsettling knowledge. The Expendables begin their relentless hunt for Villain. Maggie's intel leads them to a desolate, dust-choked village that looks like it's been actively trying to disappear from maps for decades. The scene is grim, a stark contrast to the usual explosions. Here, the oppression is palpable, a suffocating silence hanging over the downtrodden inhabitants. You can almost feel the grinding poverty and the fear. Villagers, gaunt and weary, are being forced into slave labor, digging for plutonium like something out of a particularly dystopian history lesson. The metallic scrape of shovels against rock and the hushed, despairing murmurs of the workers create a truly somber atmosphere. This isn't just about a package anymore. It's about liberating the oppressed and putting an end to a genuine evil. It's a sobering reminder that even in a movie packed with ridiculous action, there can still be a heart of genuine injustice upon seeing the horrific conditions. The team does what they do best, unleash a symphony of righteous fury. It's a rapid-fire skirmish, punctuated by the familiar sharp crack of gunfire and the dull thud of bodies hitting the dirt. Gunner, probably humming a little tune in his head, absolutely revels in the chaos, his signature heavy machine gun spitting lead with a joyful abandon. Lee Christmas moves like a deadly ballet dancer, his knives a blur of lethal precision. They're not just fighting, they're liberating. The frightened murmurs of the villagers turn to gasps of relief as they realize help has finally arrived. The Expendables, despite their gruff exteriors, show a surprising tenderness towards the civilians, gently guiding them to safety amidst the mayhem. It's a moment that reminds us that beneath all the bravado, these guys actually have a moral compass, even if it's calibrated mostly for shoot first, ask questions later when dealing with villains. Just when you think the Expendables have seen it all, and probably could handle anything thrown their way, the universe decides to throw Chuck Norris into the mix. Yes, that Chuck Norris! The Expendables find themselves in a bit of a pickle, ambushed in the wilderness, the sharp snap of incoming rounds forcing them to take cover. And then, like a whisper in the wind, but with more roundhouse kicks, Booker arrives. He materializes out of nowhere, a blur of decisive action, dispatching Villain's goons with a nonchalance that borders on comedic. The thwack of his powerful strikes and the CHCH of his shotgun are the only sounds needed. The bad guys literally fly through the air, their attempts to fight him as effective as trying to punch fog. Even the Expendables are visibly impressed, their hardened expressions softening into something resembling awe. It's a glorious, self-aware cameo that injects a fresh burst of legendary status into the already stacked roster, proving that when Chuck Norris shows up, villains tend to have an exceptionally short life expectancy after his rather understated, yet utterly devastating, introduction. Booker sits down with Barney, the silence between them thick with unspoken history. Booker, with that quiet intensity only Chuck Norris can manage, drops some serious intel. It turns out Villain isn't just some local thug. He's got a sprawling, insidious network, and his plan isn't just to have the plutonium, but to sell it to the highest bidder on the global black market. The chilling revelation that the world could soon be facing multiple nuclear threats hits home. Booker also points them towards Villain's main operation, a much larger, more heavily guarded plutonium mine. The metallic clink of maps being unfolded and the low murmur of their conversation underscore the gravity of the situation. This isn't just about avenging Billy, it's about preventing a worldwide catastrophe. The stakes, somehow, just got even higher, and the team knows they're in for a fight that will make all their previous battles look like a friendly game of checkers. Alright, enough with the talking. It's time for some therapeutic destruction. The Expendables, now with the added bonus of Booker, launch their full frontal assault on Villain's main plutonium mine. This isn't a stealth mission. This is a kick in the front door, light everything on fire, and then kick in the back door for good measure operation. The air is immediately filled with the deafening roar of machine guns, the bone-rattling thud of grenades, and the satisfying crunch of crumbling concrete. Explosions bloom like evil metallic flowers, sending debris flying and shaking the very ground beneath their boots. Each bullet rips through the air with a menacing whiz, finding its mark with brutal efficiency. Barney bellows orders, his voice raw but unwavering. Wally Christmas executes acrobatic takedowns that would make a ninja jealous. Gunner, in his element, lets loose with a torrent of lead, his maniacal laughter almost audible above the din. They are fighting through waves of Villain's heavily armed goons, a relentless tide of bodies and gunfire, all aimed at stopping the extraction of the world-ending element. It's a symphony of chaos, a ballet of brutality, and precisely what we signed up for. Deep within the suffocating confines of the mine, the action intensifies. Barney finds himself face-to-face with Hector, Villain's rather unpleasant second-in-command. It's a brutal, close-quarters slugfest, each punch landing with a visceral thud and each block delivered with a painful thwack. You can almost feel the grit and dust in the air as they grapple, trading blows like two enraged rhinos. Meanwhile, Maggie, the quiet tech expert, surprises everyone by turning into a whirling dervish of martial arts. Her movements are fluid, almost graceful, as she dispatches Villain's goons with a series of sharp, precise strikes and swift kicks. The sharp crack of bone and the gasps of the falling enemies underscore her lethal efficiency. Even Gunner, who probably thought she only knew how to work a spreadsheet, looks momentarily stunned. It's a fantastic showcase of her hidden talents, proving she's more than just brains. She's got the brawn to back it up when the situation demands it. This team really does have it all. Grizzled veterans, knife experts, demolition fanatics, and now, a stealthy, ass-kicking hacker. What more could you ask for? Having liberated the villagers and, presumably, made sure Villain wouldn't be getting any more shiny, glowy rocks, it's time for the obligatory escape the collapsing structure scene. Because what's an action movie without a crumbling edifice? Whether it's Villain's desperate attempt to bury them or Gunner just getting a little too enthusiastic with the C4. The mine starts to come down around them with a terrifying groan of stressed metal and rock. The air fills with thick, choking dust, and the rhythmic crash of falling debris creates a truly claustrophobic atmosphere. The Expendables, ever the heroes when they're not blowing things up, guide the terrified villagers through the crumbling tunnels, their shouts of encouragement cutting through the din. They scramble, slide, and leap, dodging massive chunks of falling rock and narrowly escaping the gaping maw of the collapsing structure. It's a breathless dash for freedom, and you can practically feel the rumble in your chest as the mountain decides it's had enough of these shenanigans. Just another day at the office, really as if a team of grizzled marks and Chuck Norris wasn't enough. The Expendables 2 decides to crank the epic dial all the way to 11. Just when things are looking a little dicey, with Villain's forces seemingly endless, a familiar roaring sound grows louder, and a helicopter descends from the sky like a metal angel of vengeance. And who pops out? None other than Mr. Church, looking slightly less annoyed now that he gets to participate, and the one, the only, Trench Mauser. Arnold Schwarzenegger, ladies and gentlemen, joining the party with more firepower than a small army. The thud-thud-thud of the chopper blades is quickly joined by the rat-a-tat-tat of heavy machine guns as they lay down devastating suppressive fire. Their arrival is a glorious, thunderous declaration that Villain's bad day is about to get a whole lot worse. The synergy of these titans of action, finally united, promises an even grander finale. It's like watching your favorite action figures finally all get to play together. With the band fully assembled, the literal supergroup of action legends, it's time for the big kahuna. Planning the final assault, Barney, Church, and Trench, a triumvirate of cinematic muscle, stand over a large, detailed map of Villain's stronghold, an old, wonderfully decrepit Soviet terror airport. The hushed, strategic murmurs of their discussion are punctuated by the occasional clink of a weapon or the quiet shifting of weight. Each of them brings decades of combat experience to the table, and the plan they concoct is a masterpiece of destructive ingenuity. There's a palpable sense of grim determination in the air. This isn't just another mission. It's personal for Barney, and for everyone else, it's about stopping a madman. The rustle of maps and the low, confident tones of their voices are a prelude to the storm they're about to unleash. They're not just planning. They're mentally preparing for a total demolition job, making sure every angle is covered for maximum carnage. As dusk settles, cloaking them in long shadows, the Expendables and their expanded crew begin their approach to Villain's fortress-like airport. This isn't just an airport anymore. It's a monument to malevolence. Their convoy, including a repurposed tank that looks suspiciously enthusiastic, moves with a surprising degree of stealth for a group that usually announces its arrival with fireworks. The grumble of their engines and the soft clink of their gear are at the only sounds as they navigate the desolate landscape. You can almost feel the tension in the air, thick and heavy, as they breach the outer perimeter. The distant, flickering lights of the stronghold seem to beckon them, a promise of the brutal confrontation to come. It's the calm before the mother of all storms, where every shadow could hide a threat and every creak of metal foreshadows the explosion. It's a beautifully orchestrated build-up to the glorious pandemonium we all know is just round the corner, and then all hell breaks loose. The airport transforms into an absolute maelstrom of fire and fury. A massive boom as a watchtower, utterly vaporized by an expertly placed charge, kicks off the festivities. From that moment, it's a non-stop barrage of gunfire, the air thick with the zip and whiz of bullets. Explosions blossom like fiery dandelions, sending clouds of dust and debris skyward, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. The Expendables, now a veritable army of action heroes, advance through the chaos like unstoppable forces of nature. Every corner of the screen is filled with kinetic energy, the clatter of empty casings hitting concrete, the sharp crack of headshots, the triumphant roar of the Expendables as they push through Villain's defenses. It's a ballet of brutality, a symphony of destruction, precisely the kind of over-the-top, glorious spectacle that this franchise excels at. You can practically smell the cordite and taste the flying shrapnel. It's an absolute feast for the senses, if your senses enjoy things going bang loudly and frequently. The airport battle continues its relentless pace, but now we get to zoom in on the individual artistry of destruction. Lee Christmas, with a flick of his wrist and a glint in his eye, unleashes a barrage of knives, each one finding its mark with a silent, deadly thwack. He's less a mercenary and more a precision artist of pain. Gunner, meanwhile, is having the time of his life, his enormous machine gun spitting a steady stream of lead, creating a glorious rat-a-tat-tat symphony that clears rooms faster than a fire alarm. Toll Road, a whirlwind of muscle and tactical efficiency, engages in brutal hand-to-hand, the thump and crunch of his strikes leaving little doubt about his effectiveness. And Hail Caesar? Well, he's just blasting away with his custom shotgun, the guttural thump of each shot echoing through the hangar, sending enemies flying. It's a magnificent showcase of each member's unique, utterly lethal skill set, proving that while they're a team, they're also individual forces of nature. The sheer volume of metallic clangs and explosive booms is almost overwhelming in the best possible way. This is why we watch these movies. As the airport collapses into a burning, twisted mess around them, the main event finally arrives. Barney Ross versus Jean Vilain. This isn't just a fight. It's a visceral, deeply personal clash, fueled by grief and vengeance. The air is thick with smoke and the metallic tang of blood, the crackling of flames providing a menacing backdrop. Their thudding punches and gasping grunts are almost drowned out by the roar of the fire. Vilain, with his ruthless martial arts, is fast and precise, but Barney, driven by the memory of Billy, is a relentless, unyielding force of nature. Every blow landed is infused with the weight of his fallen comrade. The whoosh of kicks and the smack of impact create a brutal rhythm. It's a no-holds-barred, take-no-prisoners kind of brawl, each man pushing the other to their absolute limit. The fight isn't choreographed for flash. It's designed for impact, for the raw, brutal satisfaction of seeing good, or at least, less evil finally confront pure villainy. You can feel the desperation and fury in every single strike. After a grueling, brutal dance of death, Barney finally delivers the decisive blow. The crack of bone and the heavy thud as Vilain collapses amidst the fiery wreckage signal the end of his reign of terror. It's a moment of grim satisfaction, but tinged with the memory of Billy's sacrifice. With Vilain dispatched, the immediate threat is neutralized. Simultaneously, ever the professionals, Church and Trench are seen securing the remaining plutonium, their faces etched with relief. The metallic clink of the containment units being sealed is a quiet promise of a world saved from unimaginable destruction. The mission, initially a simple retrieval, has evolved into a global rescue, and the Expendables, with a little help from their friends, have once again proven to be the last best hope when everyone else has failed. The collective sigh of relief, unspoken but palpable, settles over the battlefield. The good guys mostly win, the bad guy definitely loses, and the world can breathe easy, for now, with the dust settled and the world safe. At least until the next inevitable global crisis. The Expendables take a quiet moment to remember Billy. They gather around a makeshift grave, a simple marker in the solemn landscape, the wind rustling softly through the trees. A stark contrast to the earlier cacophony of battle. Barney, his face a mask of controlled grief, gently places Billy's custom knife on the grave marker. It's a poignant gesture, a silent promise kept, a tribute to the young man who dreamed of painting instead of fighting. The collective silence speaks volumes, a rare moment of vulnerability and reflection for these hardened warriors. It reminds us that even heroes have to pay a price, and sometimes, that price is measured in the lives of those they care about. It's a powerful, emotional beat in a movie usually more focused on flying debris than feelings. The weight of their dangerous lives hangs heavy in the air. A quiet elegy for a comrade lost, with their mission accomplished and a heavy heart for Billy. The Expendables do what they always do, board their trusty, albeit probably still bullet-riddled, plane and head off into the horizon. The drone of the engines fills the air as they ascend, leaving the chaos behind. They're silhouetted against a setting sun, because of course they are, ready for whatever fresh hell the world decides to throw at them next. It's a classic action movie ending, a promise that the fight never truly ends for these guys. The world needs its unsung, over-the-top, explosion-loving heroes, and these guys are always ready to answer the call, probably with a sarcastic quip and a ridiculously oversized weapon. It's a reminder that even after all the devastation and heartache, there's always a new adventure waiting, a new villain to punch, and another ridiculous problem only they can solve. The hum of their plane disappears into the distance, leaving us to wonder who they'll be saving, or blowing up, next. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? These movies, for all their glorious explosions and one-liners, ultimately remind us of the enduring spirit of teamwork, resilience, and facing down impossible odds. It's about finding courage in camaraderie and knowing that even the toughest battles can be won when you stand together. Until next time, stay awesome. Today we're diving headfirst into the explosive world of the Expendables 2, where muscles are flexed, catchphrases are plentiful, and explosions are practically a love language. This is where Hollywood action legends gather, not for a book club, but for some serious mayhem. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. We kick things off with a bang, literally, as Barney Ross and his elite crew, the Expendables, storm a heavily fortified base in Nepal. Their mission? To rescue a seemingly important hostage and their own man, the knife-wielding dynamo, Lee Christmas, with the hostage secured, which oddly enough turns out to be a Chinese billionaire, and their resident demolition expert, Toll Road. Freed from a rather sticky situation, the team makes a truly grand exit. Their helicopter, bristling with weaponry, lays down a barrage of suppressive fire, turning the compound into a rather impressive fireworks display. The rhythmic thud of rotor blades and the rapid-fire thwack of bullets hitting metal accompany their daring escape, leaving a trail of fiery destruction in their wake. It's the kind of exit that says, "We came, we saw, we blew stuff up, and now we're off to grab a smoothie back at their urban stronghold." The ever-philosophical Tool, played by the legend Mickey Rourke, makes his heartfelt goodbyes. He's decided to embrace a new path, opting for a life less likely to involve dodging grenades and more likely to involve, well, whatever it is Tool does in his spare time. But fear not, the team isn't left short-handed. In his stead, we're introduced to Billy the Kid Timmons, a fresh-faced sniper with a surprisingly gentle soul for a man who carries a high-powered rifle. He's got dreams, you see, dreams of hanging up his sniper rifle and composing music, a stark contrast to the gritty reality of mercenary life. It's a bittersweet moment, the kind that makes you wonder if these guys ever just settled down for a quiet game of bingo. Probably not, just as the team is settling back into their routine of, well, whatever passes for routine in their lives. A familiar face, or rather a familiar scowl, makes an appearance. Mr. Church, played with his usual stoic intensity by Bruce Willis, tracks Barney down in an actual church, perhaps for the poetic irony. Church isn't here for confession, though. He's here with a non-negotiable mission. It seems the Expendables owe him a favor, a big one, and it's time to collect. The task: head to Albania, find a downed plane, and retrieve a mysterious package. No fuss, no muss, just a simple go fetch for a heavily armed Black Ops team. Easy peasy, right? As if that wasn't enough to spice up their day, Church also suggests, with all the subtlety of a tactical nuclear strike, that they take along a new operative. Enter Maggie Chan, a former military engineer and CIA agent. Played by the effortlessly cool Yunnan, she's not exactly what the boys are used to: less biceps, more brains, and a refreshing lack of gruff grumbling. The team, ever so welcoming, greets her with a mix of suspicion and classic alpha male posturing, especially from Gunner, who probably just wanted to know if she could also carry his bazooka. Maggie's role is clear. She's the tech expert, the one who can locate this elusive package. Barney, always the pragmatist, reluctantly agrees, knowing full well that Church's suggestions are less suggestions and more "do this, or I'll make your life a living nightmare." The metallic clang of their boots on the hangar floor signals the start of their next adventure, a journey that promises more than just a simple retrieval. The team arrives in the desolate Albanian wilderness, the silence broken only by the crunch of their boots on the rocky terrain and the occasional anxious murmur. The downed plane, a crumpled metal bird, lies amidst the trees, a stark reminder of someone else's misfortune. Maggie, with her tech wizardry, quickly pinpoints the package's location within the wreckage. As they secure the mysterious briefcase, a sense of unease permeates the air. It's too quiet, almost suspiciously so. And then, boom! The comm shatters into a cacophony of gunfire and explosions as a tripwire detonates, signaling a perfectly executed ambush. The air crackles with the snap of bullets whizzing past and the thump-thump-thump of automatic weapons fire. Leading this delightful welcoming committee is Jean Villain, played with menacing glee by Jean-Claude Van Damme, a man whose name quite literally means villain. Talk about truth in advertising. Villain isn't just any mercenary. He's a ruthless operator, charismatic yet utterly depraved, and he wants a package. His men, a heavily armed and surprisingly organized bunch, pinned down the Expendables, turning what was supposed to be a simple retrieval into a frantic firefight. The ping of ricocheting bullets off the fuselage, the guttural shouts of commands, and the desperate cries of the wounded create a hellish symphony. Barney and his team, always quick to react, unleash a torrent of return fire, the rat-a-tat-tat of their machine guns echoing through the forest. But Villain has the upper hand, and his objectives are cold, calculated, and deadly serious. This isn't just about a package anymore. It's a fight for survival, a brutal dance where every move could be their last. And for one of them, tragically, it will be. Amidst the chaos and the desperate struggle for cover, a chilling silence suddenly cuts through the gunfire. It's the kind of silence that screams tragedy louder than any explosion. Billy the Kid Timmons, the young sniper with a musician's heart, is caught in Villain's crosshairs. A single, brutal shot rings out, and Billy crumples, clutching his chest, the life draining from his eyes. His dreams of composing music, of a peaceful life, vanish in that agonizing moment. The crack of the sniper rifle is followed by the heavy thud of his body hitting the ground. The Expendables, momentarily stunned by the sudden, heartbreaking loss, watch in horror as Villain's men grab the package and begin to withdraw. Barney, his face a mask of grief and fury, tries to reach Billy, but the overwhelming enemy fire forces them to retreat, a tactical withdrawal that feels like a profound moral defeat. The thump of their boots as they reluctantly fall back is heavy with regret. As Villain makes his escape, he commits an act of unspeakable depravity, a final, cruel taunt. He places his signature knife, handle first, into Billy's chest, leaving it as a morbid calling card. The image is gut-wrenching, a visceral declaration of war. The clink of the knife as it settles is a sound that will haunt Barney and the team. This isn't just a mission gone wrong. It's personal. The carefree mercenaries are gone, replaced by men consumed by a burning desire for vengeance. The whoosh of wind through the barren trees seems to mourn with them, as the cold reality of their loss settles deep into their bones. The laughter is gone, replaced by a grim determination. Villain has just made the biggest mistake of his life, and he's about to find out exactly what happens when you cross the Expendables. The grim task of burying their fallen comrade is carried out in somber silence. The scrape of shovels on earth the only sound. There are no grand speeches, no tearful eulogies, just the quiet, heavy breathing of men grappling with profound loss. The desolate landscape mirrors the emptiness in their hearts. Each thud of dirt hitting the coffin echoes the weight of their grief. Barney, his eyes hardened with resolve, places a single, gleaming knife on the makeshift grave, a silent promise, a blood oath. This isn't just about retribution. It's about honoring a young life tragically cut short. The rest of the team stands shoulder to shoulder, their faces etched with a potent mix of sorrow and simmering rage. The creak of a leather jacket, the clench of a fist, every subtle movement speaks volumes. They are no longer just mercenaries on a job. They are brothers united by grief and a singular, relentless purpose to make Villain pay. Every click of a weapon being readied, every grunt of determination, solidifies their resolve. They're going after Villain, not for money, not for a contract, but for Billy. And when the Expendables come for you, well, let's just say retirement planning suddenly becomes a very urgent matter. The chill wind whispers through the trees, carrying their silent vow of vengeance. The memory of Billy's last breath, the gasp that was cut short, fuels their every step. This isn't going to be pretty. It's going to be personal, brutal, and absolutely unforgettable. Villain might have won this round, but the fight is far from over. The scent of damp earth and fresh blood fills the air, a grim reminder of their mission. Revenge, after all, is a dish best served with extreme prejudice and a generous side of explosives. Fueled by their grim determination, the Expendables waste no time. Maggie, with her impressive technical prowess, quickly deciphers the briefcase's contents. It's not money, it's a map. A map leading to a forgotten Soviet-era plutonium mine, hidden deep within Bulgaria. This revelation instantly clarifies Villain's true intentions, not just a simple heist, but something far more sinister and globally threatening. The team piles into their battle-hardened jeep, the groan of its suspension protesting slightly under their collective weight and weaponry. They navigate desolate, dusty roads, the whir of the engine cutting through the silence of the abandoned landscape. They arrive at a ghost town, a crumbling relic of a bygone era, its dilapidated buildings standing like skeletal sentinels against the bleak sky. The wind howls through broken windows, creating an eerie, mournful sound. This isn't just an empty town. It's a scene of forced labor. The thump-thump of heavy machinery can be heard in the distance, a stark contrast to the deathly silence of the surrounding area. They discover unmistakable signs of Villain's brutal operations, crude camps, barbed wire, and the chilling absence of any free inhabitants. The creak of a rusty gate, the clatter of discarded tools, every sound paints a picture of oppression. It becomes clear that Villain isn't just stealing plutonium. He's reactivating a deadly mine, forcing innocent villagers to extract the fissile material. The mission has now expanded beyond mere revenge. It's evolved into a desperate race against time to prevent a global catastrophe. The stakes just got considerably higher, and the team's resolve, if possible, has only intensified as they stealthily infiltrate the perimeter of the mining operation. The horrifying truth of Villain's cruelty becomes painfully apparent. The rattle of chains, the crack of whips, and the desperate, muffled cries of exhaustion paint a grim picture. They observe hundreds of villagers, men, women, and children, forced into backbreaking labor within the crumbling, unsafe plutonium mine. The air is thick with dust and the acrid smell of chemicals, a poisonous cocktail that promises a slow, agonizing death. The constant scrape of shovels and picks against rock provides a grim rhythm to their suffering. Villain's brutal mercenaries, armed to the teeth, patrol with ruthless efficiency, their heavy boots thudding ominously on the unstable ground. Any sign of defiance is met with swift, brutal punishment. The whine of ancient mining equipment echoes through the cavernous shafts, a mechanical monster contributing to their misery. Barney and his team, seasoned as they are visibly shaken by the sheer scale of the atrocity. This isn't just about a mission anymore. It's about humanity, about rescuing innocent lives from a fate worse than death. The whispers of despair seem to rise from the very earth itself. The mission, initially about vengeance for Billy, has now taken on a far more profound moral imperative. They can't just retrieve the plutonium and leave. They have to liberate these people. The clink of their own weapons suddenly feels heavier, charged with a new, urgent purpose. The plan, initially focused on extraction, must now pivot to a full-scale rescue operation. The silence after a distant boom from the mine feels deafening, heavy with the weight of unspoken horrors. As the Expendables prepare to launch their desperate rescue operation, meticulously planning their assault, a sudden, unexpected twist throws a wrench into Villain's well-oiled machine. A thud and a gasp from Villain's guards signal something amiss. Out of the dusty, desolate landscape, a legendary figure emerges, moving with silent, lethal grace. It's Booker, played by the one and only Chuck Norris, a man whose very presence seems to bend the laws of physics. He dispatches a small squad of Villain's men with astonishing speed and quiet efficiency, his martial arts skills still as sharp as his legendary beard. The crunch of bone and the whoosh of air as he strikes are almost imperceptible. He appears like a desert mirage, then solidifies into a formidable ally. Booker, a lone wolf known as the Lone Wolf because why complicate things, provides crucial intel. He explains Villain's grand scheme, reactivating these abandoned Soviet mines to harvest raw plutonium, which he intends to sell to the highest bidder, sparking global instability and probably causing several world leaders to spill their tea. It's a classic villainous plot, executed with ruthless precision. The chime of a hidden pocket knife being opened, the rustle of his coat, every subtle sound from Booker seems to carry an air of understated power. His presence reassures the team that they're not entirely alone in this desolate wasteland, bringing a much-needed boost to their morale and a sudden fear into the hearts of Villain's goons. They've gone from facing a formidable enemy to facing a formidable enemy plus Chuck Norris. That's a significant upgrade in terms of impending doom for the bad guys. Booker's quiet wisdom and incredible combat prowess are a godsend, turning a daunting task into a slightly less daunting, but still incredibly dangerous one. The click of his belt buckle after a quick move is a sound of pure, unadulterated badassery. With Booker's invaluable intelligence and formidable presence, the Expendables consolidate their efforts. The crackle of a walkie-talkie and the rustle of maps accompany their strategic discussions. Huddled around a makeshift table, illuminated by the flickering glow of a single lamp, Barney, Maggie, and Booker meticulously devise a multi-pronged assault. The plan is audacious: simultaneous infiltration from different angles, coordinated strikes on guard posts, and a full-scale push to liberate the enslaved villagers. The scratch of a pencil marking out positions on the map, the low murmur of tactical communication, every detail is crucial. They know Villain's forces are well-armed and numerous, their thumping patrols a constant threat. But the Expendables have something Villain doesn't experience: a profound sense of brotherhood, and now, the living legend that is Chuck Norris. Lee Christmas sharpens his knives with a soft shink sound, preparing for his close-quarters ballet of blades. Gunnar prepares his heavy weapons, their clatter echoing in the tense silence, anticipating the glorious symphony of destruction he's about to unleash. Yin Yang, with his silent agility, strategizes his infiltration points, moving like a phantom. Toll Road meticulously checks his explosives, the click of a timer being set, the hiss of a wire being stripped, each action deliberate. The grunt of a final agreement, a nod of grim resolve, seals their commitment. The team understands the immense risks involved. Failure means not only their demise, but the tragic fate of hundreds of innocent lives. The air is thick with anticipation, the thump-thump of their own heartbeats perhaps the loudest sound in the stillness. This is more than just a fight, it's a crusade, and they're about to unleash hell on Villain's operation, turning his plutonium playground into his personal apocalypse. The creak of a door opening as they fan out into the night marks the beginning of their relentless offensive. The carefully orchestrated assault begins with a series of coordinated booms and a hail of gunfire. The crash of gates being breached and the pop-pop-pop of sniper fire signal the Expendables' arrival. Gunnar lays down a punishing wave of heavy machine gun fire, its rat-a-tat-tat ripping through Villain's defenses, creating a path for the others. Lee Christmas moves like a deadly shadow, his knives shinking in and out, silently dispatching guards with ruthless efficiency, a grim ballet of blades and blood. Yin Yang, with his unparalleled martial arts prowess, engages multiple enemies simultaneously, the thwack of his kicks and the crack of his punches echoing through the close quarters. Barney, ever the leader, bellows orders, his voice a gravelly roar amidst the chaos, as he expertly wields his pistols, each bang finding its mark. The enslaved villagers, witnessing their unexpected saviors, seize the moment. Their initial terror gives way to a surge of defiant rage. They turn on their captors, grabbing anything they can find, tools, rocks, sheer willpower to fight back. The clatter of their improvised weapons and their shouts of rebellion add to the furious symphony of the battle. Maggie, proving her worth beyond just tech, assists in guiding the villagers to safety while also engaging in combat, her pistol cracking with surprising accuracy. Toll Road's strategically placed explosives detonate with a series of concussive thumps and roars, collapsing key structures and cutting off enemy escape routes. Booker moves through the chaos like a ghost, his whispering presence followed by the swift, silent demise of Villain's men. The scream of a mercenary, the clang of metal, the deafening silence after an explosion, every moment is a visceral assault on the senses. The Expendables are not just fighting. They're unleashing a storm of righteous fury, transforming the oppressive mining compound into a chaotic war zone. They are liberators, delivering brutal justice with every bullet and every punch. It's a beautiful, terrifying spectacle of vengeance, and Villain's empire of cruelty is crumbling round him. Despite the Expendables' overwhelming success in liberating the villagers and decimating Villain's forces, the cunning villain manages to slip away. As the roar of the collapsing mine shafts fills the air, and the screams of his remaining men mingle with the cheers of the freed villagers, Villain makes his calculated exit. He boards a heavily armored vehicle, its engine growling menacingly, with a substantial portion of the deadly plutonium strapped securely inside. Barney, witnessing this infuriating escape, lets out a guttural snarl of frustration, his fists clenching round his pistols. He unleashes a volley of frustrated bangs at the fleeing vehicle, but the armor holds, deflecting the bullets with a ping and a ricochet. The crunch of tires on rubble and the whoosh of the vehicle speeding away leaves a cloud of dust and the bitter taste of a partial victory. They save countless lives, yes, but the main prize and the main target has eluded them. The thump of the armored vehicle disappearing into the distance echoes the thump-thump of their own racing heartbeats, still vibrating with adrenaline and now renewed purpose. The mission isn't over. It's merely shifted gears. Villain has the plutonium, and that means he's still a global threat. The metallic screech of the vehicle fading means they have to be faster, more relentless. The clatter of their spent casings hits the ground, a grim reminder of the unfinished business. The immediate relief of saving the villagers is quickly overshadowed by the chilling reality that Villain is still out there, with enough fissile material to cause unimaginable devastation. The scent of cordite and dust fills the air, a grim reminder of their close call and the persistent danger. The pursuit must continue with an even greater sense of urgency. The hiss of their comms as they relay the escape is filled with determination, not defeat. The game of cat and mouse is far from over, following Villain's trail, which, surprisingly, wasn't too hard given the radioactive signature he was now carrying. Just kidding, it was Maggie's tech. The Expendables converge on a vast, derelict airport. The thud of their Jeep tires on the cracked tarmac resonates with the weight of their pursuit. This isn't just any airport. It's a sprawling, abandoned relic, perfect for a grand finale showdown. As they pull up to a massive, dusty hangar, they're met with an unexpected, yet utterly delightful, surprise. Standing there, as stoic and formidable as ever, is Mr. Church, played by Bruce Willis, looking like he's just stepped out of a highly stylized commercial for serious business. But he's not alone. Beside him stands none other than Trench Mouser, portrayed by the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger, with his characteristic "I'll be back" swagger, even though he's already there. The clink of their heavy weaponry is a reassuring sound. It seems the word got out about Villain's plutonium-fueled shenanigans, and the cavalry has arrived, albeit a very specific, very muscular kind of cavalry. The chatter of comms quickly turns into a series of gruff, yet oddly heartwarming, greetings between these titans of action. There's a palpable sense of shared purpose, and perhaps a touch of who can blow up more stuff-friendly rivalry. The grunt of mutual respect is clear. The combined force of the Expendables, Church, and Trench creates an almost insurmountable wall of firepower and experience. This isn't just a battle. It's a reunion of action movie royalty, preparing for a collective smackdown. The airport, once a place of departures and arrivals, is now set to become the stage for an explosive, unforgettable confrontation. The whir of helicopter blades in the distance signals even more backup is arriving, just in case Villain thought this was going to be a fair fight. Spoiler, it won't be. And so, the stage is set for an epic showdown, with a coordinated crash of breaching charges and a torrent of gunfire. The combined forces of the Expendables, Church's operatives, and Trench's formidable presence descend upon Villain's stronghold within the airport. The sheer scale of the battle is breathtaking, a symphony of destruction. Automatic weapons chatter incessantly, their rat-a-tat-tat echoing through the vast hangar. Explosions boom with concussive force, shaking the very foundations of the old building and sending debris showering down. The air fills with the acrid scent of gunpowder and the metallic tang of spent brass. Barney, leading the charge, moves with a primal intensity, his pistols barking relentlessly, each shot a testament to his unwavering resolve. Lee Christmas, a whirlwind of blades and fists, makes short work of Villain's goons, the shink of his knives a deadly whisper in the chaos. Gunner, predictably, is in his element, unleashing a stream of heavy machine gun fire. its roar a testament to his joyous destructive enthusiasm. Yin Yang, a blur of motion, dispatches enemies with acrobatic grace. The crack of his kicks and punches a rapid-fire beat. Toll Road, ever the strategist, directs his team, ensuring every explosion counts, every thump and rumble serving a tactical purpose. Meanwhile, Church and Trench, not content to merely observe, plunge headfirst into the fray. Trench, with his signature heavy machine gun, carves a path through the enemy, his deep growl matching the weapon's impressive recoil. Church, surprisingly agile, combines precise pistol shots with unexpected melee takedowns, proving he's more than just a suit and a bad attitude. The combined might of these legends is overwhelming, turning Villain's mercenary army into little more than target practice. The screams of the vanquished mingle with the shouts of the victors, a chaotic ballet of violence and retribution. This isn't just a firefight, it's a masterclass in cinematic carnage, where every bullet finds its mark and every explosion is a work of art. The thump-thump of boots, the clatter of discarded weapons, the hiss of escaping steam from ruptured pipes, the airport is transformed into a war zone of epic proportions. A testament to the Expendables' relentless pursuit of justice. As the airport battle rages, each Expendable shines in their unique, wonderfully destructive way. Lee Christmas, ever the silent assassin, moves through the enemy ranks like a deadly whisper. His knives shink and slice with breathtaking precision, a ballet of swift, lethal movements. He's not just fighting, he's conducting a deadly symphony of sharp edges. The gasp of his victims cut short. Meanwhile, Gunnar Jensen, with a grin that could only belong to a man truly enjoying his work, unleashes absolute hell with his ridiculously oversized weaponry. The roar of his heavy machine gun is a continuous rat-a-tat-tat, tearing through cover and mercenaries alike. He's less about finesse and more about apply maximum lead until problem no longer exists. And honestly, it's beautiful to watch. The thump-thump-thump of spent cartridges hitting the ground creates a percussive beat to his carnage. Yin Yang, the agile martial artist, becomes a blur of motion, a whirlwind of kicks and punches, the crack of bone, the whoosh of a perfectly executed spinning heel kick. He turns close quarters combat into an art form. His grunts of effort minimal, his effectiveness absolute. And then there's Toll Road, the demolition expert. His booby traps and strategically placed explosives turn sections of the airport into impromptu fireworks displays. The rumble of a collapsing wall, the whoosh of shrapnel, the concussive thump of a well-placed charge. He's the architect of destruction, reshaping the battlefield to their advantage. Each click of a remote detonator is a promise of impending chaos. The coordinated chaos they unleash is a testament to their years of fighting together, a seamless, deadly dance where every move has a purpose, and every enemy finds their ultimate demise. The screams of Villain's men become increasingly desperate, realizing they are not just fighting mercenaries, but a force of nature. Even Maggie joins in the melee, her pistol cracking with surprising force, proving she's more than just a pretty face with a GPS. The clang of metal, the sizzle of sparks, the constant roar of battle, it's a sensory overload, and it's glorious. They're a well-oiled machine of mayhem, and Villain's forces are learning that the hard way. Amidst the thunderous cacophony of the airport battle, Booker, the legendary lone wolf, operates with an almost supernatural stealth. The whisper of his movements is barely audible over the din of battle as he appears and disappears, a ghost in the machine. He executes a series of silent, utterly devastating takedowns, his crack of a neck or thud of a falling body going unnoticed by the overwhelming noise, but certainly not by his targets. He's a one-man cleanup crew, thinning out Villain's numbers from the shadows, ensuring no stragglers slip through the cracks. His shink of a blade is a death knell for unsuspecting guards, a testament to efficiency. Then, the dynamic duo of Church and Trench takes center stage, and let me tell you, it's a sight to behold. They are less about subtlety and more about why use one bullet when 100 will do. Trench, with his enormous machine gun, unleashes a torrent of lead. The guttural roar of his weapon matching his own iconic growl. He clears entire sections of the hangar with seemingly effortless sweeps, enemies scattering like bowling pins. Church, not to be outdone, wields an equally impressive firearm, his barking shots providing rhythmic counterpoint to Trench's overwhelming firepower. They stand side by side, to colossal figures of action, delivering an unapologetic masterclass in heavy gunplay. The ping of countless casings hitting the concrete, the sizzle of burning wreckage, the shouts of enemy combatants realizing they've made a terrible life choice. It's a symphony of pure, unadulterated mayhem. Their combined firepower creates a formidable, unbreachable front, pushing Villain's remaining forces to their absolute breaking point. The thud-thud-thud of their heavy boots advancing sends tremors through the ground. A clear sign that retirement is not an option for these two legends, especially not when there's an evil mastermind to be dealt with. The only thing missing is a giant explosion behind them if they walk away in slow motion. But trust me, it's implied as the massive airport battle reaches its climax. With Villain's forces crumbling around him, Barney Ross finally corners his nemesis. This isn't just a boss fight, it's a deeply personal showdown, fueled by the memory of Billy's tragic death. The clatter of debris and the hiss of ruptured pipes create a desolate arena for their duel. Barney and Villain lock eyes, the air thick with tension, a simmering hatred that's been building since that brutal ambush. The snap of their first punch, the grunt of impact, signifies the start of a brutal, no-holds-barred hand-to-hand combat sequence. Villain, surprisingly agile and utterly ruthless, meets Barney's fury with his own brand of cold, calculated violence. His kicks are sharp, his punches are precise, each blow in to disable. Barney, powered by pure rage and years of street fighting, throws himself into the fray, his every swing and block carrying the weight of his grief. The thump of bodies hitting the ground, the metallic clang as they collide with wreckage, the gasp of strained effort. It's a raw, visceral struggle for dominance. There are no fancy acrobatics here, just brutal, effective fighting from two seasoned warriors. The whoosh of a missed punch, the shudder of a glancing blow, every sound emphasizes the impact and intensity. Villain taunts Barney, his smirking words like daggers, trying to break his resolve, but Barney's focus is singular. Vengeance for Billy, the crack of a bone, the splinter of wood as they crash through obstacles. The fight is a desperate dance on the edge of exhaustion. The heavy breathing of both men fills the momentary lulls in the action. Finally, with a surge of adrenaline and a roar of pure, unadulterated fury, Barney delivers a final, decisive blow. The thought as Villain crumples to the ground is deeply satisfying, a moment of cathartic release for Barney and for the audience. Justice, brutal and swift, has been served, bathed in the glow of the flickering emergency lights. The silence that follows is deafening, punctuated only by Barney's ragged breaths. The memory of Billy is honored, and Villain's reign of terror is emphatically, and quite literally, brought to its knees with Villain finally dispatched. The immediate danger shifts from an evil mastermind to a ticking environmental catastrophe. Maggie, ever the calm professional, moves quickly to secure the unstable plutonium. Her careful clicks and precise movements as she disarms the devices are a stark contrast to the earlier mayhem, highlighting the delicate nature of their next task. The hiss of escaping gases and the whir of a Geiger counter add to the suspense. Meanwhile, the airport, already heavily damaged by the battle, begins its dramatic collapse. Toll Road, with a final, mischievous grin, probably initiated a few pre-planned structural failures. The creak and groan of collapsing metal, the rumble of concrete tearing apart, and a series of massive booms indicate it's time for a truly grand exit. The entire combined force, the Expendables, Church, Trench, and even Booker, make a spectacular dash for their waiting vehicles. It's an organized chaos, a thump-thump-thump of boots against the rapidly deteriorating ground. Explosions rip through the hangar, sending fire and debris showering everywhere, perfectly framing their dramatic escape. The screech of tires as their jeeps and trucks peel out of the collapsing airport is a symphony of adrenaline. They leave behind a truly impressive and rather poetic monument to their recent victory, a smoking, crumbling airport, a testament to what happens when you cross a team of legends and their friends. The whoosh of the wind as they speed away, the distant roar of the final explosions, signal the end of this particular chapter. The world, for now, is safe from Villain's nuclear ambitions, all thanks to a group of men who are really, really good at making things go boom and bang, and occasionally making things shink with a knife. The click of their engines as they finally settle into a rhythm away from the danger sounds like a sigh of relief, though you'd never get them to admit it after the dust, smoke, and general pulverization of the airport have settled. The team makes their way to a quiet, reflective moment. The hum of their engines fades, replaced by a contemplative silence. Barney, ever the stoic leader, is seen walking away, carrying Billy's guitar case. It's a subtle but powerful visual, the instrument a poignant reminder of the young man's dreams, now tragically unfulfilled. The gentle clink of the case as he carries it contrasts sharply with the earlier metallic symphony of war. His face, usually a mask of rugged determination, is now etched with a quiet sorrow, a testament to the heavy cost of their chosen life. The whisper of the wind through barren trees seems to carry echoes of Billy's lost music. The rest of the team, though out of sight, is undoubtedly sharing in this collective moment of remembrance, each grappling with their own thoughts of loss and the harsh realities of their mercenary existence. There's a heavy sigh that seems to emanate from the very air around Barney. They've saved the world, prevented a nuclear catastrophe, but the victory is bittersweet, stained by the blood of a brother. The crunch of his boots on the quiet ground as he walks alone underscores the solitude of leadership and the burden of command. It's a moment of profound reflection, a somber pause before the relentless cycle of violence inevitably begins anew. The distant call of a bird reminds them of the life they fight to protect, and the lives they've lost along the way. The soft glow of the setting sun casting long shadows signifies the passing of a day and the weight of a painful memory. It's a poignant reminder that even for these hardened warriors, some wounds never truly heal, they just become a part of who you are. A silent thump in the heart as the Expendables vehicles disappear into the horizon, leaving the chaotic echoes of battle behind. We're left to ponder the true cost of heroism. It's a life of constant motion, of sacrifices made for a world that often doesn't even know it was saved. Their journey reminds us that true strength isn't just about brawn or firepower. It's about loyalty, about standing by your comrades, and about finding purpose in the face of overwhelming odds. Perhaps their greatest legacy isn't the explosions they cause, but the unwavering spirit of brotherhood they embody. They are a testament to the fact that even in the darkest corners, where danger lurks and evil thrives, there will always be those willing to stand up, fight back, and remind us what it truly means to be, well, expendable. It's a thought that resonates long after the final boom fades, inspiring us to face our own challenges with courage and conviction, knowing that even the smallest act of defiance can spark a revolution. Thank you for joining me on this wild ride. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight.